Hey everyone, quick intro into this podcast. This is an interview with Stephen J. Larsen, who is of ClickFunnels fame. He was known to be the main ClickFunnels funnel builder. When Russell Brunson kind of blew up with ClickFunnels, he's built over 500 funnels. He now is one of the coaches for the One Funnel Away Challenge. That's actually how I got introduced to him. It was during my first One Funnel Away Challenge that I signed up to interview him. So that was over 6 months ago. It was in October. And literally 15 minutes before that interview, I got a reminder and I totally freaked out. So this podcast is really about facing your fears and how you overcome them in a very real sense, because when I got that reminder, I freaked out a bit. So let's run the intro and we'll get right into our interview with Stephen Larsen. And we talk about a lot of cool stuff and I hope you enjoy it. Here we go. Everyone should be an entrepreneur. The chance to overcome obstacles, solve problems, make the world a better place, and dictate your life on your own terms is worth the risk. My name is Aaron Stewart, and I have been researching or living entrepreneurship for almost 30 years now. Welcome to the Little Black Couch, a journey in entrepreneurship. Steve!
What's going on?
How are you?
Living the dream. How you doing?
Doing well, thank you. Thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, absolutely.
Appreciate it very much.
Of course.
So, I want to get started here. I know you've got your time's very valuable.
That's fine.
And you got to jump on the next one. So I wanted to jump right into it. So
yeah,
our listeners obviously get a piece of me just from the entrepreneurship side and what I'm trying to do there. But
yeah.
I don't know how much of a golfer you are, but and that's kind of where my group is. But what I'm trying to do and what we're trying to talk about is how we use technology now to learn at a quicker pace. Mm. And watching you and your career, how you have switched over from being a corporate guy to doing your own thing. You have embraced technology, leveraged it, right? And have been able to, I would say, develop more quickly and learn more things because of technology. So I was just I know it's kind of sprung on you to think of it this way, but just watching you in some of your podcasts and what you do, technology is such a big part of your life now.
Yeah. How
do you make that work for you? And what do you think that technology has done for you in your life as far as moving up the learning curve?
Yeah, honestly, for me, I think one of the greatest gifts of technology is that I can click ×2 speed on any video.
There you go.
And I will go and I don't know, our brains can process faster than I can speak, you know. I was coaching some really interesting people the other day. They flew out for a day with me and they said, hey, did you know there's 40 billion bits of information? Scientists say there's 40 billion bits of information in our environment at all times, but we can only consume 40 of them, like 40 bits total. There are 40 billion. And so we have these things in our brains, the RAS receptors that will go, and the whole point of them is to delete. And so they cut and they cut and they cut and they delete so that we only focus on those 40 things out of the 40 billion. And I thought that was really fascinating. So one of the things I do as far as leveraging technology is I don't like to consume information without knowing why I started turning it on in the first place. So I'm only going to go like pop on a book, or I'm only going to go, whatever it might be, with a specific question in mind. I truly believe that questions invite revelation. And so therefore, be careful of the questions you ask, So I actually have on my office is kind of a mess. We're still cleaning up from an event we just did, but dang it, you can't even see it. It's behind that whiteboard. There's another whiteboard. I thought you might be able to see it. But what's cool is that's my questions whiteboard. And all I do is I think through major questions. I don't try to answer them. It's a place for me to dump them. And what I'm doing is I'm trying to rank the problems. I'm trying to rank the questions. Not all problems pay the same when you solve them. So I go through and I write down all the questions, so I can figure out what one of the major focuses might be. And then I learn just for that thing. That's been one of the greatest ways I've been able to leverage technology. Because I'd say I don't know, probably the first 3-4 years, technology, I was kind of technology slave not on purpose, but there's just so much noise out there, and you could be like, I'm going to learn it all. And it's like, that's not smart anymore.
It seems like the world has changed a lot. When I started entrepreneurship eons ago, the internet was just a way for us to deliver our deliverables, just transfer it, right? And then we got into an age and we had to adjust our business where we were actually able to use technology to deliver solutions. And now we've gotten to a place, and I think that this is where you have been magnificent, honestly, and this is the space where I'm still uncomfortable and trying to learn it, is now we can use technology to get our message out, social media, podcast, all the stuff that we're doing now, to get our message out, to drive them to not a place, a receptacle where our knowledge and our solutions are deposited, so we can share them with so many more people than we could before. When I started, it was peer-to-peer, right? Here's your solution and here you go. We didn't have it, where you could just sort of do it that way. And so I guess when you are talking to an audience and you're trying to frame your message, do you niche down to a specific message, or because you can basically talk to so many people, do you try to keep the message as general as possible?
It's fantastic. No one's ever asked me that. There's really two markets for each business that we have. So the first market, if someone's listening or watching this or whatever, if you have not sold anything ever, you have one market. And I think of it as like, if I'm going to wake up one day and I'm in a little village and I need to go sell my goods, I wake up and I put all my stuff in my cart. Where do I push the cart? And the obvious answer is like, well, where all the people are, right? But like, so many people don't go do that. When they make this product or whatever, they'll say like, they make the product and then they find the pocket of people, which is the exact opposite. But they go and they push, like you go push the cart to this group of people or whatever. That's my first market, the red ocean, the place that's highly competitive. I want that. That's the exact opposite of what college taught me. You don't want any competition. No, you want huge competition. Because it's actually stability. And so I'm going to go push this cart of my goods and I'm going to go talk to just that group of people that's already loud, already there, already communicating. As people start to buy from me and I start to create lots of noise in this market, it's very natural for them to start leaving that market to find my hut, or find some other new place. That initial buyers list that you build, or your buyers list over time, is your second market. I can speak to my current buyers differently than those who've not purchased from me yet. So I think of it as two different markets. And because of that, I actually have, when I create content, it's for both. I'll make messages for the really competitive red ocean, and then I'll make messages for just those who are on my buyers list. I send it to both audiences, but it's with that in mind. Okay, this is going to be maybe a little more of a technical episode to feed the current buyers list. This is a little bit more of one that's a little more broad and open. That's kind of how I think of it.
Okay, I like that. I think that's great. So you talk of this red ocean, which is essentially, for those that don't know, it's a big pool of bloodied water because there's so much competition. They've torn each other to shreds, more or less, right? Not to be graphic. But so you're in there then and you're discussing how do you get attention in that market where there's so many voices? Are you the loudest? Are you the smartest? Do you leverage what your passions are? Is everybody different? How do you go into that red ocean and try to get a group of them to come with you over to your hut?
Yeah. So I think one of the biggest mistakes people make is that they try to convert everybody. There's really three major types of individuals in that red ocean, that red market. And for me, my definition of a market is just that it's a group of very similar products, the buyers and sellers. That's all it really is. But like, there's these people who they're buying those products, they're consuming those products, and they love them. They're amazing. And that is the worst person to try and sell. And most of the time, that's who people try to go sell, is somebody who loves that current product. And in your business, so, again, if someone's watching or thinking about this, you know, in your business, if you're in that mode, if you're entering a feature war, right, and you're saying things like, mine will do this and this and this, it's like watching two people cheering for opposing teams during the Super Bowl. Neither side wins, right? It's a matter of straight opinion by that side, or by that time. I don't try to sell that individual. And that is a lot of what mainstream entrepreneurship in college taught me, was to go, well, the one with the better features, the better product, that's the one who's going to win. I just skip that whole game altogether, and it actually is way easier. What I do is I like to sell the person who's in there, they're consuming those products. They once thought it was solving their solution or solving their problem, but they're now in a place of pain again, and they're aware of it. That's very key for the person I try to go sell. So I don't try to sell everybody in this market. There's this group in this little category of people in there who I know they're currently in pain. They are very self-aware of it. They know their needs aren't getting met. They're actively starting to seek other things. They just don't know what other options are out there. That's huge for me. That's the easiest person to go sell. A lot of courses that are out there say I got to go create the pain or the problem so then I can present my solution. I think that's garbage. There's a lot of extra noise the world doesn't need. There's already those just with a problem, right? And I can solve the existing one that they have without me creating one for them. So that's how I go, and I create that noise. Then when I start saying things like, hey, are you, I'll tell you the benefit of this this is that I can lead with my problem, not my solution. And everybody else leads with their solutions. So when they're talking about their problem, they're like, I have this issue, this. And I lead with their issue. They're like, someone understands me. And it actually really simplifies the way I do my marketing. And I'm not begging anybody to come buy from me. They come running. It's really interesting.
Okay. So you would think sort of better defining the problem.
Yeah.
Better defining the problem and providing a benefit or a solution. If you can do that efficiently, if you can do that with your kind of how you your core, then you'll get this group to peel off and kind of come with you.
Yeah, a really good book called Play Bigger.
Okay.
Those who can define the problem the most actually will get the most sales. It's not about who has the best solution. I'm not saying not to have a good one, but like, it's more about who can define the problem the best, rather than come and say my solution's better. And you get this windfall of all these people coming in, and that's been my experience. It's really fascinating.
Do you think that based on? Do you think that, I know that we're running short on time, but
that's fine.
A lot of that is that. Do you think that the people that you're talking to maybe don't fully understand their problem? Is that
sometimes? Yeah, sometimes. I just need them to be in a place where they're self-aware. You know, it's like if somebody was trying to teach me or convince me to not use ClickFunnels, that's a losing conversation all around. It's just not going to happen. You know, it's so much a part of my identity. And that's why selling a diehard or somebody who loves the products inside that red ocean is it takes forever to convert that person. And, you know, I think of them as, this is another way to think of it, as like, there are these varying lengths of education, right? These education bridges. How long does it take for me to educate a customer? Marketing is changing beliefs with the intent of a sale, but really what that means is education lengths. And so there are people out there, it's like, who are trying to set the world record for longest putt in terms of how much education it takes to sell them. Yeah. I don't want to do that. Who is like so queued up right there that I mean, a breeze could come by and cards stacked in my favor for the sale. And it's much easier to do it that way. So who needs, if I have to educate them about the problem, if I come up to them and I say, here's the problem you're experiencing, right? And they're like, oh, maybe, I don't know. It's probably not the problem. Well, I need to be able to say it. And they go, oh my gosh, I never thought of it that way. You're exactly right. That is what I'm experiencing. Or yeah, I have been feeling that. Like, and when I do that, it's like, that becomes the headline in my webinars. That becomes the headline in all of my ads. And then they're like, what? Just, I don't want anyone to feel weird or whatever, but like, one of the headlines I have is like, how I'm auto recruiting a big downline without friends and family even knowing I'm an MLM. And that's one of the ones that I go run, and people are like, what? You can do that? That's a thing? And they get so, are you serious? And so when you think about like Stephen, what's the other examples I could use? Think about whatever market you're selling into. What is the method they're all convinced gives them success? And just because we all know MLM, no one get weird on us, as we're talking about this, but like everyone knows, join MLM, lose your relationships. That's like the big thing. So I just become the opposite of that in my headlines.
Okay.
And they're like, what? And it fights the main modality and method overall. And it's, but I do that for anything like that. How to make money online without a website, how to, use a funnel, and becoming the opposite of those major beliefs. People who are in pain around those beliefs will really resonate with them.
Cool. I love it. Well, Stephen, thank you so much. I know you've got the next one to jump onto. Where can we find more about you, and where's the best place to take a look and find you?
Yeah, thank you very much. If you go to stevejlarsen.com, that's kind of the hub for everything.
Yeah, I've seen it. It's been redone and it looks great. So everything's there.
Appreciate it.
So, yeah, cool.
It's not me.
Yeah, yeah. You had them on though, which was cool. That was a cool episode on the podcast. So, anyway, thank you very much for taking the time, Stephen. Appreciate it. Appreciate all your coaching. Love watching and what you're doing. It's a fun ride.
Hey, thanks, Aaron. Appreciate it.
Okay, see ya.
Bye-bye.